Walk her down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach, like the angels do, and you gon' make it through now. Tell about the healer, greater is the one within, and call him as the leader. Teach her how to hold a pretty hand up to the sky, and never wait upon the giver, he'll deliver like a dealer. Take her higher.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, daughters across this great domain. As you know, I am Honorary Past Imperial Commandress Simone Hall, hailing from the oasis of El Paso, Oral Court number 20, the big desert of Texas. And you are in for a treat tonight. So I am not going to prolong this. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce our leader, the 50th Imperial Commandress, Dr. Karen Wright-Chisolm.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much, Simone, for that introduction. And welcome to From the Desk of the 50th Imperial Commandress, episode number 10, entitled Preparing for Imperial Court Session. And like Simone said, I am Dr. Karen Wright-Chisolm, your 50th Imperial Commandress, and I am extra excited to host this episode tonight. As we continue to pursue excellence through the challenges of change, I am happy to announce that my vision was to add some excitement to Imperial Session. So as we embrace upon the start of the 113th Imperial Court Session, an added time in our history that we are celebrating 114 years of service. In less than a week, we will begin to journey into the colorful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, known for all of the nice, what do we call the beads and the pearls and all the excitement that we have an opportunity to experience while we're in New Orleans. I am excited that I will have the opportunity to officially preside as the 50th Imperial Commandress of the Imperial Court Daughters for the first time since being elected last August. I am also excited about seeing and greeting daughters, nobles, families, friends, and a community in New Orleans, Louisiana. I cannot wait to see each and every one and to see and share the fruits of the labor that the overzealous daughters from across the domain have prepared for you to learn, to apply, and to enjoy while at session. So guess what? For such a time as this, I am proud of all of the presenters tonight. And so we're not going to belabor this. We're going to start with our very first presenter tonight, which is Dr. Lisa Smith, that she is the Imperial Directress of one of our new departments called the Imperial Court Risk Management. And she is going to tell you, to give you some pointers and some hints of what is to be expected from the Imperial Court Risk Management Department. Lisa, you're up.
Good evening, Imperial Commandress and daughters. I am daughter Lisa W. Smith, past Commandress of Sethos Court number 105. I hail from the oasis of Winston-Salem, desert of North Carolina. I am the Imperial Directress of Risk Management, which, as the Imperial Commandress has already stated, a new committee to the Imperial Court. Some of you may ask, what is risk management? Risk management is identifying, mitigating potential risk and hazards and how to deal with them before they happen. The goal of our committee is to always try to keep the daughters safe at all times. At session, we will share information on how to be safe, not only at Imperial Session, but also during gala days, desert conferences, balls, and etc. As we prepare to travel to New Orleans next week, please keep a few things in mind. In case of an emergency, travel with extra cash and extra medication. Remember, do not venture into the streets alone, but travel in pairs or groups. And as you've already heard, the new variant of COVID-19 XBB is on the rise. Bring your mask and social distance where possible. If necessary, take a COVID test before you leave. If you've been exposed to large crowds or don't quite feel like yourself prior to coming to session, to ensure that you are well and not unnecessarily exposing others to COVID-19. So if you're traveling by plane, train, or bus, wear your mask. That way you know you're covered. If you need anything during Imperial Session, you can identify me and my team by our purple and white polo shirts. If you have any questions or concerns after this presentation, you may email me at lisawsmith2004@gmail.com. Once again, that's lisawsmith2004@gmail.com. Thank you, Imperial Commandress, for the opportunity to share at this time and to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Daughter Smith. Get ready, daughters. Look for Daughter Smith and her committee in their purple and white shirts, and they will be there with their badges if they're not in their shirts to be able to identify them. So look for them, and any questions that you have, feel free, and they will gladly help you. So guess what? Our second presenter is also the Imperial Directress of another new committee called Emergency Preparedness. And that Imperial Directress is Daughter Vick Parker. Daughter Parker, you're up.
Greetings, Imperial Commandress. As she mentioned, I'm Daughter Vick Parker at Swackham Court number 54, Oasis of Wilmington, Desert of Delaware. I bring you greetings on the Emergency and Preparedness Response Plan. The purpose of the Emergency Response Plan is a written guide to help facilitate and organize emergency actions during emergencies such as fire, weather, loss of power, or shelter in place. A plan should be established and resources should be on hand and quickly available to prepare for the emergency at any sponsored event. When an emergency occurs, daughters, the priority is always life safety. The second priority is protection of court assets. Daughters, emergency contact forms are to be completed by all daughters, and a copy given to the illustrious commanders, and please keep a copy for yourself. The emergency response team have a communication strategy to quickly disseminate emergency information to attendees, staff, and exhibitors. This may involve using public address systems, text messages, alerts, social media, or mobile apps. Daughters, a safety message will be read at meetings to make sure that daughters understand emergency procedures to evacuate if necessary. Strategies have been developed for managing large crowds safely during emergencies, including crowd control measures and members trained in crowd management techniques. The emergency response team will have on white or khaki uniforms with orange lettering. The court emergency response plan may be activated at any event that may cause safety or harm to daughters and visitors in court assets or environments. Imperial Commandress, I thank you so much for allowing me to serve as the Imperial Directress of the Emergency Response Team. And most of all, emergency response, provision, preparedness, and response. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Y'all, we are in for a treat this coming session. We are going to have risk management. We're going to have disaster, emergency preparedness, disaster, whatever what she said. Yeah, y'all got it. So I'm not going to belabor it. Our next presenter is Dr. Esther Anand, and I probably messed her name up, but I'm going to have her pronounce her name and tell you what she's bringing to the session this year.
Thank you, and good evening, Imperial Commandress. Good evening, daughters. I am Past Commandress Esther Annan, and I hail from High Court number 62, Oasis of Buffalo, Desert of New York. And I pray this message finds you well. I am a licensed master's level social worker, and I appreciate every opportunity that I am able to share how I ground myself, knowing who I am and whose I am, especially with the everyday hustle and bustle and demands. Mark 4:39 reminds us, and he rose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was great calm. Daughters, as we celebrate our 114th year as the Imperial Court Daughters at our 113th session in New Orleans, it is a privilege to introduce to some and review with others the 7 mindfulness techniques alongside scriptures from the great book that can assist us in our everyday self-care. Trust me, it'll be edifying, because one of those practices just includes you breathing and showing gratitude for the good moments and grace for the not so good moments. If you need to reach me, I can be reached at eaconsultservices@gmail.com. May God grant everyone traveling mercies, and I look forward to seeing you in Louisiana. Thank you, Imperial Commandress, for the time to speak and the opportunity to share my talent within the domain.
Thank you so much, Daughter Esther. That's all I'm going to say. And her 7 tidbits will be brought to you at some point at session prior to us beginning the session. We will have maybe a recorded session where she will give you her tidbits to help you to start your week and to get ready for what's to come at our Imperial session. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Our next presenter is Daughter Erica Sheffield. And I'm going to have Daughter Erica come and do the same thing to present herself and tell you what she is going to bring and offer to the daughters across the domain at this session.
All right. Good evening. Thank you so very much, Imperial Commandress. And it's an honor to be here. My name is Dr. Erica Sheffield, past Commandress of Caroon Court number 89, Oasis of Gulfport, Desert of Mississippi. Under the leadership of my Imperial Directress, HPIC, daughter Lawana Marshall, I serve as the Deputy Imperial Directress for Deep South Region 1 Daughters Imperial Mentoring Excellence Program. The mission of the SAM and DIME program is to provide positive role models for the purpose of building strong, committed relationships, teaching life skills, improving academic success, self-esteem, and social competency for our youth. Let me tell you, we are extremely excited about this year's Imperial Sessions events. During the Shriners 2024 Imperial Session in New Orleans, the Shriners as mentors under the leadership of Imperial Director Benny Bowers and the Daughters Imperial Mentoring Excellence under the leadership of Imperial Directress Lawana Marshall, these programs have partnered with First Tee of Greater New Orleans to provide a golfing and mentoring experience for 20 youth that have been earmarked by the host temple and court on August the 17th, 2024. The program is entitled Golf Etiquette and Good Character Traits. Then on Sunday, August the 18th, from 2 to 4:30 p.m. in New Orleans Marriott Salon D, 3rd floor. Let me tell you, you better be there, because this year we will be highlighting temples and courts across the domain that exemplify mentoring excellence within their oases and desert. Our department chiefs, Noble McMiller and daughter McNair, will be presenting awards to recognize the outstanding temple director and court chairpersons in the order. Then a special recognition will be given to our past DID, daughter Sandra Vance, for her dedication to the DIME program for 10 years. We will also be conducting a brief breakout session to address any mentoring concerns of any nobles and daughters across the domain. So please be sure to register for our networking event. The link was actually sent to Temple Court directors and chairpersons, desert directors, chairpersons, deputies of and for the oasis, and deputies of and for the desert. You can also find the link on our SAM and DIME Facebook page. If you have any additional questions, please contact us at imperial.samdime@gmail.com. I want to end by sharing this quote in our mentoring manual. Live your life so that your children can tell their children that you not only stood for something wonderful, you acted on it. From an anonymous author. We look forward to seeing you in New Orleans, and thank you so very much, Imperial Commandress, for this opportunity to share.
Thank you, Dr. Sheffield. I am excited about what is going to be happening at Imperial Session. I am looking forward, especially to all of that exciting news that you just shared with us about the DIMES and the SAMS program. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do. All right, y'all. Y'all getting excited? Want to see who's coming next? We have Daughter Charlene Hall. I'm going to have Daughter Hall come on and introduce herself and tell you what she has to offer us.
Good evening, and thank you so much to our 50th Imperial Commandress. I sincerely appreciate this opportunity. Listen, are y'all excited yet? Because I am. I am Dr. Charlene Hall from Harem Court, number 96, in the beautiful oasis of Tampa, desert of Florida. I am a Human Resources Director, and I am ecstatic to be sharing with you all some tips on preserving the peace in our courts while still obeying the laws, rules, regulations, Constitution, and general laws of the Imperial Court daughters. It is my sincere and earnest prayer that something you see, hear, or even feel will resonate with you enough for you to bring it back to your constituent court. And listen, while we're on the subject of mental health, let me remind you, daughters, you are enough. Even without the makeup, the lashes, the girdles, and the weave, we are still who God intended for you to be. So walk like it, talk like it, and carry yourself as such, because daughters, you are enough. I wish you all safe travels, and hopefully for every pound we gain while we're there eating, we'll lose 3 when we get back. Thanks again for the opportunity to share and speak and share my talents, Imperial Commandress, and I will see you all soon. Safe travels, everyone.
Thank you, Daughter Hall. You are enough. Wow. We're looking forward to it. I can hardly wait to see what else you have to offer to us when we get to the Imperial Session. Thank you again, Daughter Hall. So now we're winding down to almost to the end of what we have tonight. But those of you who may have been following the news and all of the things that happened in the last couple of months with 45 and with Biden, we know that this is going to be a very crucial year for everyone. And because we have Daughter Kamala Harris that's vying for the presidency, we as women want to show everyone across this entire United States that the Imperial Court daughters are a part of the 1 million women that plan to stand behind our candidate for president. Well, the next person is going to speak to you is Daughter Brenda Murphy. Daughter Brenda Murphy is the state president for NAACP from South Carolina, And she is going to bring you some tidbits and some information on how we're going to be able to help to get the vote out and some of the things that we need to do to make sure that we're on target with what's going on in this world. So thank you, Dr. Brenda.
Greetings, Imperial Commandress, other daughters that are present here tonight. I want to thank you, Imperial Commandress, for that introduction and mention my message. You know, I've heard the words exciting, ecstatic, and I guess my message is not going to be very exciting, but very important. First of all, let me mention that I am past commandress for Cairo Court number 125. That's in the desert of South Carolina, the oasis of Columbia. I am the state conference president for the state of South Carolina also. Let me share with you. I think we've heard more the last few months about what is happening in our community, in our state, and nationally, because it is throughout this nation. We are experiencing grave challenges as it relates to our civil rights. I know that you've heard about Project 2025. Our goal this year is to inform those that are present, as many as we can, that attend the Imperial session about Project 2025, how it's impacting, and what it's going to do to our future if we do not vote. We have to vote, vote, vote. Not only must we vote, but we must get out in the field. We might have to refocus what we are doing, do things a little bit differently, because the next few months are very, very critical. We have to make sure that we are educating, and I don't like to say educating, I want to say providing information to our neighbors, our churches, our family members, and our associates regarding what Project 2025 means. And I know you've also heard about Agenda 47, which is Trump's, I don't want to call it name, which is a candidate's agenda, which is very similar to Project 2025, who denies that he knows anything about Project 2025, but we know that's not true. I will share with you, because I think it's very important that you know that this didn't just start. This, and I will say attack on us as Black people, began in 1984. I think we have been, the young people, they say we need to wake up, stay woke. Well, I think we slept a little bit too long, because they have been strategizing since 1984. There's more than 100 plus organizations involved in this attack on our democracy, and to make sure that it impacts on us as Black people, because they think we've come too far. And so they want to make sure they put us back in our place. You've heard comments regarding our jobs being taken by those folks that are being allowed into our country, and that the border should be closed. Now I see the commander sitting here, so that means I need to be quiet. I need to stop. But I want to say that we have to get the message out in our communities that it is critical that we vote, and we must come together. We must come together and make sure we get the message in the communities of the why. They need to know why, because that's very important. We need to know where to go and where to target, and one way you can do this is by working with your NAACP in your communities, because they have the data. So please share that information. Imperial Commandress, thank you for allowing me this opportunity.
Thank you, Daughter Murphy. And as you saw, she is the Imperial Directress for NAACP. They will have a table at the session near the meeting room. We will have handouts, information, and if you need to ask some questions of Daughter Murphy, please stop by her table and have a conversation with her, have dialogue with her, and I'm sure she will be able to help you and share with you some of the information that we all need to know. So thank you again, Daughter Murphy. Now we're getting down to the wire. We have coming up next, Daughter Michelle Martin, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell you who she is and what department she represents. You're on mute. Unmute.
Thank you. Good evening, Imperial Commandress. Good evening, daughters. I am honorary and past Imperial Commandress Michelle Martin from KSI Court number 117, Oasis of Miami, Desert of Florida. I am the Imperial Directress of the Chalcina H. Smith Public Programs, Media, Publicist, Publicity. Working with me is honorary past Commandress Alicia Lancaster and daughter Shyla Smith. The primary goal of this department is to inform the public of the efforts, deeds, and achievements of the Imperial Court daughters to our respective communities. We are committed to branding the Imperial Court. Our hope is that whenever you tell someone you are a member of the Imperial Court daughters, they know exactly who we are and what we do. I'm excited to tell you about the many things we have accomplished in the last 90 days, but before I do that, I want to tell you a few things we have planned for Imperial Session. We have secured 3 interviews. These interviews will be used to highlight the Imperial Court daughters' 114 years of service. We've created the inaugural Imperial Court Spirit Week, which starts August 17th and ends August 24th, which is our 114th anniversary. We will be interviewing all 9 of our past Imperial Commandresses. We're planning to debut a new website. We are introducing a series at session called How Much Do You Know About 50? We will be interviewing the Imperial Directress of History and Archives. We have supported and will support at session the Ernestine Buck Special Programs, Ruth M. Ellaby Thinking Pink, and the Imperial Commandress Special Project Departments. Most recently, our department created the Daughters Facebook frame, celebrating our 114 years of service. In less than 24 hours, over 1,000 daughters downloaded the Facebook frame. Did you know the average Facebook user has at least 130 friends? That means in less than 24 hours, we have introduced or reintroduced over 100,000 people to the Imperial Court daughters. The Chalcina H. Smith Public Program Department is excited and energized to build the brand of the Imperial Court daughters. We look forward to seeing you at session.
Thank you, Daughter Martin. Did y'all hear all the exciting things that the Chalcina H. Smith Public Relations, Media, Publicity, I know I'm messing it up, has been doing and will be doing at this upcoming 113th Imperial Session, celebrating 114 years of service? I am truly excited, and I am so appreciative to all of these presenters that did not think it was robbery to come on tonight to be able to share with you some of what you can look forward to when you arrive in New Orleans, Louisiana, beginning on Friday, August 16th. We will plan to bring summation of some of our other initiatives and programs going on during Imperial Session as well. So look for any type of signs, any information about what is to come and what is going to be shared. And just like I said, if y'all see Daughter Martin walking around with that microphone, beware, beware, be ready, because she's going to stop you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopefully you have enjoyed this session, this segment of episode 10, Preparing for Imperial Court Session. And they tell me we don't have any questions. So, wow. So they must have been very informative, but we will, we're going to let a few seconds ask if there are any questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. So we're going to give you a few minutes if you have any questions. Okay. So guess what? I'm going to I'm just going to ask if we can just kind of bring up the frame where we see everyone at once. So, and they can just say goodbye, wave their hands or something to the crowd, and let them know that this has been from the desk of the 50th Imperial Commandress, episode number 10, Preparing for Imperial Court Session. I remain Dr. Karen Wright-Chisolm, the 50th Imperial Commandress of the Imperial Court Daughters. Thank you. God bless you. Looking forward to seeing you. We pray for safe travel for everyone coming to session. And remember to take all those precautions that you need to take before traveling. Don't forget to bring things that you're going to need. And let's make this the best Imperial Court Session that you have ever attended. And to God be the glory. Thank you. And we
Walking down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach, like the angels do, and you gon' make it through now. Tell about the healer, greater is the one within, and call him as the leader. Teach her how to hold a pretty hand up to the sky, and have a wait upon the giver, he'll deliver like a dealer.